Hey y'all, welcome to Reagan's Tidbits. Okay, welcome to episode 1 of Reagan's Tidbits. So I like to call this place a safe place for dreamers, and so I'm going to start out with 5 tips when you don't know how to dream or you don't have a good starting point for a dream. So my first tip to you is to identify your role models. I don't know what this looks like for you. This could look like a lot of different things. Maybe it's a professor, maybe it's a graphic designer, maybe it's a nurse, maybe it's a teacher, maybe it's an influencer, a YouTuber. I don't know what this looks like for you, and there's a huge range, but once you start to identify these role models, what is it about them that you want more of? What is the mission that you want more of it? Is it their lifestyle? Is it their career? Is it their family? Is it their health? When you start to identify these role models, you start to identify something within yourself that maybe you didn't know that needs to be unlocked. Step 2, let's get niche specific, okay? The broader you are, the more search engine, the more research, the more confusion will come up. Let's say, for instance, you want to be an interior designer and you go into Google and say, how do I want to be an interior designer? There's going to be a bajillion of different things pop up. So let's get really specific. Maybe you do want to be an interior designer, but how about let's search how to become an interior designer when I didn't go to school for it? Or how do I become an interior designer with an emphasis of farmhouse vibe? I don't even know if that's a thing. I just made it up, but let's start to do more niche specific research. Step 3 is huge. Start to ask for help. There's nothing wrong with that. Start to reach out to people, whether that is through email, DMs. I don't know what this looks like for you. It can be anything because I don't know what your dream is. So begin to reach out to people. An example from my own life is this girl reached out to me and she said, how do you start a blog and how did you come up with a blog name? It was really easy for me to respond back to her, and it made me feel good about it because I'm like, wow, she thinks I'm fancy or she likes what I'm doing. And so another thing I want to put on this is start to build a relationship with that person maybe before you reach out. So maybe start to read a book so you can reference that, or maybe comment on their stuff, or maybe share their stuff, or take a course, or listen to their podcast. Start to build that relationship. Let them know that you're a fan and you're part of their tribe, and then reach out to them. Step number 4, now this would be a given to most, but we actually don't do it. It's to research and learn before you start doing something. Don't go out there and start a blog like I did and not know what the heck you're doing. Start to research, start to build a foundation, start to learn about what you need to do to be successful. This should be your first thing. You shouldn't just go out in the world with this huge idea and not know how to do it or have any claim to back it up. The moment I took business courses on how to start an online business is when my whole life changed. For the last 6 months, all I've been doing is learning. So really take the time out and start to learn and research before you begin to just dive into all this crazy work in your dream. And lastly, only do one thing. In a world where you can get stuck in overwhelm with a huge to-do list, stop. Just try to do 1 or 2 things this week. It'll move your needle more. It'll point your ship in a different direction if you only do one thing. So an example, maybe your one thing is to start to read a book, or your one thing is to reach out to 10 people. In a world where we're working, we have family, friends, and a crazy life, it can just become overwhelming. And when you're doing everything, you're not doing anything, in my opinion. I don't know if that's a quote, but it's my quote now. Anyways, back to reality. Only do one thing this week or 2 things this week. I'm so excited to serve you, and I can't wait to see where this goes.